Yeah.
Yep.
Where's Rosie's? Where's Rosie's?
All right,
Lake Lake's full.
everybody ready?
Items for the board approval. Okay.
Um,
Side of the consent.
Welcome to the December meeting of the Alexander Board of Education. Can we have roll?
Jay. Josh.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yep.
Lucy.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
high school's in there.
Thank you. Before we get going, I'm just going to ask that we take a moment of silence really quickly for the Alexander community lost one of our kindergarten teachers, Mrs. Thomas, and so I ask you, thank you. Thank you. All right, we have on the agenda, we have the adoption of the agenda with the addendum to items for board approval. We have item E, it's recommended the Board of Education accept the enclosed letter of retirement resignation from Sherry Phillips, effective January 31st, 2023. I will make the motion.
Second.
Roll.
Jay. Josh.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
Lucy.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes. Under special presentations, we have the high school science Olympiad and STEM class.
All right, I think Mr. Ford has been delegated the responsibilities of talking about our Science Olympiad and maybe giving us a brief tour.
I'm actually going to punt on the tour to the two guys back here, but I wanted to give these guys an introduction, not that they need one, I'm sure everybody knows them, but Mr. Hampton had asked, I think Elementary shared some things that were going on in their building last month, and he had asked Mr. Raines and I for some ideas about that. And the timing was kind of good. He had just shared a presentation with us. I don't know if he shared it with you guys. It was titled Preparing Students for Their Futures, Not Our Past. And he'd shared that and asked us at about the same time I'd been in Mr. Hendershot's room talking with some kids about what they were doing and thinking about what they're getting. And I think they're going to talk a little bit about the program and what's going on. But I think you're going to see some kids doing some very impressive things with impressive tools. And there's some wow factor to that. The argument that I would make, and what's most exciting to me is big picture things they're getting out of this. We don't know what the world's going to look like in 30 or 40 years, but these guys are learning a lot of really important skills. They're learning teamwork, they're learning cooperation, problem solving, troubleshooting, and self-reflection. And I can't think of a better format for kids to be able to gain those skills and to just hone them over and over again. And I think you'll see that. So I'm going to turn it over to both of them. But very excited they were able to be here tonight. And I'll give a big thank you to the students you guys are going to visit with in a little bit.
Word must not have got out. I figured there'd be a couple hundred people here. But this is fine. The Science Olympiad and STEM class, we do some of the same projects in there, but they are their own separate thing, but they do a lot of the same skills. We work on a lot of the same things in there. The big 21st century communication, collaboration, and the ability to iteratively work on projects. It's not like, here it is, we're done, we've got whatever grade and we move on. You improve upon it. Okay, what went well, what didn't? All right, what are we doing again? How can we make it better? What type of help do we need? What data do we need to move this project in the right direction? And there's goals. There's goals to get to this, and how do we get there? And we have the ability to set teams, and not only just a single team, but multiple teams. So for like instance, we have a bridge project, and we have 2 or 3 separate teams, but then they all report back to each other, and then there's one person who's kind of in the lead who then dictates where these projects move from there. So there's a lot of real-world experiences happening in our classrooms. The Science Olympiad is an extracurricular that goes right into that too, where you have these projects. There are 15-member teams, and on those 15 members, you have to cover 24 events. These events range anywhere from tests to engineering projects to labs to practicals to anything and any combination of those things. And your 15-member work in teams of 2, and they compete at these at a regional event, and then if you move on to a state, and then if you move on to the nationals. So it is an academic competition. Here at Alexander, we've grown the program to, we'd always just have one middle school team and one high school team. This year, we'll field 3 high school teams and 2 middle school teams. At last year's regional, we took our first and second at the high school level, and we took second and third at the middle school level. We had just 4 teams in it last year. So every year, we grow the numbers, and it's exciting to see the older kids helping the younger kids, the older kids cross-collaborating among projects, amongst teams. With 3 teams, yeah, they're competing against each other, but they can also work collaboratively together as well. Tonight, we've got a few of the projects. Some are being modified from last year. Some are brand-new stuff we've been working on. And the kids can talk about some of the challenges, and still a long ways to go on some of them, too. So, Mr. Jeffers, anything you want to add?
Great job summing
Okay, so if you'd like to come see the classroom, and there's a couple kids in there that we can talk about the project. So
Awesome.
everyone's welcome if you want to squeeze in there.
Jay just got back.
Oh, yeah? She's like, something is different. What is it, shave? Is it haircut? That's right. That's right. You now look like you're in your tweens. Tweens instead of 20s.
Yeah, right.
Just sell it.
Certain rotation, and we got caught the year that was our starting guy. And she went, no. And then she proceeded to teach us a lesson with the next exam.
We have everyone. We're good.
We're all set. All right. So now we have reports and comments, superintendent's report.
I have a few things to talk about this evening. First off, on the agenda, there are a couple of items that were related to subpay. And for the subpay for our paraprofessionals and subpay for bus drivers. The paraprofessional one is pretty straightforward, and Kim and I have talked a little bit about that. A minimum wage goes to $10.10, I believe, in January, and we're currently paying our para subs $10 an hour. So we have to make an adjustment, that's obvious. Right now, it is a real struggle to find those subs. Oftentimes, we make do with what we have and we figure it out. That's not always best for everyone, so what we'd like to propose is to raise that subpay a bit, so maybe we can at least get a couple of people that might be interested in coming in if it's more of an attractive position. So, in talking with Kim, we were recommending that we move it to $12 per hour for our paraprofessional subs. That makes us competitive with other districts and it puts us in a better position. In regard to the bus drivers and our bus subs, we are currently around $14, is that correct? Neighboring districts are at $19, $18.50, and I think most everyone is at around $18 an hour or better. And we are currently at $14 per hour for our bus drivers, for a substitute bus driver. We are going to be making some changes, and I know Mr. Phillips is here this evening because he'd like to speak about that. So now that I've talked about the basics, I'll let him talk about the details. And you guys feel free to ask him questions.
Can we start with questions after I say hello? Thanks for having me here. So start with some questions first. I'd like to start with that. Concerning what we're doing, what you're seeing, what your thoughts are about that. Do you guys have thoughts on the 18 an hour? What information would you like from me?
Biggest thing I would have is that approximately a week, month, year, how many subs do we typically have call in?
What you mean as far as how many people need them? What do we use?
On average, yeah. I know, on average, how many subs do we end up hiring?
I try to carry 3. At the beginning of the school year and the end of the school year, with all of the sports, we can have 7 or 8 trips a day. And 3 or 4 of those can take a bus any given night, on top of an illness, a hospital stay, the flu, COVID, or what have you. We were pretty open next week, and now the flu seems to be hitting, and moms have kids, dads have kids, so we're trying to cover that. The biggest thing for me on this whole deal is a while back I was talking to Mr. Hampton, and I said, I think we need to look at the pay. We were behind other people, and I proposed something less than that, to be honest with you, and I thought that that would be okay. And then I talked to Athens, and they went to 19. Logan is 19, I think Trimble's 18.50. I will be honest with you, Nelsonville and Fed Hawk are still in the 15 range, but let me tell you this, as soon as Athens went to 19, they acquired 2 Nelsonville drivers. And I'm sure Nelsonville is now going, how do I cover that route and how do I get the trips out? And that's difficult. So all I'm asking for is the ability to be close to Athens, to be close to them. I don't have to have as much as them. They also have 3 full-time sub-drivers they're keeping. So they have 3 full-time sub-drivers like we had, and that goes away. I understand that. I don't argue that, I won't ask for it. So they had 3 full-time sub-drivers now, and everybody else is 19 an hour. I don't need 19. I don't need the 3 full-time subs. I just need to be close. I need, when we're looking for people, when we put an ad out, for them to see not 14 and 19. Because I just want to get them. And if I do, I will train them for us, and within a year, when Athens has a route open up, they're going to go to Athens. But that happens. I'll lose them. I'll put $1,500 in training them, and they'll go somewhere else. So again, the beginning of the year, end of the year, those first couple months, last couple months, super busy. We want the zoo to go. We want Coastside. We want Kings Island to go. All the sporting trips. They all have to go, and it takes people, and I need subs to cover those routes. So I just need a fair chance. Whatever you guys tell me, that's what we do. Whatever you agree on, that's fine with me. And we'll advertise it. I'm going to use Remind, the school's Remind. Reach out to our parents. I'll type up a letter with these 2 fine people over here. It would be nice and appropriate to try to gather people in. But I need to be able to sell them with something. Please come in. This is what we're going to do for you. We've always done well getting subs and keeping them. I think we deal with people well down at Bus Garage. We treat them kindly. We give them opportunities. Speaking of pairs, I could be wrong, but I think one of our drivers is a pair. Every driver I get in, new, they go to the kitchen and work, they help Brian out. So they come through us, and we send them out to the school to help out. So in order to attract all those subs, it's helpful for us to get them. So I need your help, whatever that is, honestly. I didn't anticipate asking for this amount until I saw what happened around us, and I know what's going to happen. So I just need some help. So whatever you're willing to do, we'll work with, and it'll work or it won't. If it doesn't, we'll come back and address it again and go from there.
So does Athens pay for training like we do? Or?
I don't know. It takes oh, here's the other thing too. You come to me tomorrow and say, I want to drive bus, 3 months before you're behind the wheel. There's classroom, background checks, physicals, training for us, 20 to 30 hours of training. There's $600 there, a couple $100 here. So we're probably in the $1,000 range. I'm sure everybody gives to get people in. We used to have them pay up front. You got nobody. You have to help people that need money come in to work. You have to have something to get them there. So those are some small perks to get them into the work.
Right. Do you know if Athens does the same as we do? Or?
Honestly, I don't know.
You don't know?
I'm going to imagine they do, but I don't know.
Okay.
I will find out for you. I will
Okay.
call around and ask. I'll call around.
Because you had made the comment that we train them and then they leave us.
They can. And every school faces that, and there's something we could look at. And we don't have a ton to do it, but it hurts every time you lose a person because it's very important. And again, it
Regardless
takes
of
3
where they're
months to train them. And every 5 people you get in, you gain 1 to 2 out of that. You could train 5. Some people don't finish. Some people do. Some people don't. Some people decide it's too much. They don't want to do it or can't do it. So one other thing we could look at is a legally binding contract. If you leave, you owe us some money back. You could do that. But we don't have a ton of it. But everyone hurts. It's you can't lose anybody in the world of busing. You just can't. So.
Just for frame of reference, Dan, have you lost anybody yet with that disparity? It's got to be a matter of time, I'm sure, but.
Well, yes, we have. We just got one back. We had one with us. They went to Athens. He really wanted to be here and waited for a route to come open in Shade, where he lives. And as soon as that came open, he jumped right back over to us, and I was happy to have him. I understood the situation. Probably 5 or 6 I can think of.
Okay.
People that have gone, and 3 of those have come back. People really, it kind of goes along with the school. They want to be at Alexander. It's a good setup. You know, we treat them well. We have a good time. It's a good day. I just need good people to come in. So I have 2 people. We're currently, we trained, Brian Ford can drive school bus.
Right.
He helps out. Our new VOAG guy, Aaron Miller, he's driving school bus. Mr. Cooper, wrestling coach, going to drive school bus. 4 of his other coaches are going to be van trained. Sheila Collins is going to drive a school bus. She's gonna help a little bit. There's other reasons, and it'll help. We'll make it work. So there's a lot going on, but I need those 3 core people that you can always go to. I don't ask Brian unless we're desperate. And he will also help cover some trips that his child might be on. If other people don't want to, he's like, I'll do it. It works out well. So we spread out, and I'll be having interviews next week. If you guys want to come in to drive. And I tried.
So you have a list of substitutes or people that say, hey, you can call me? Is that how this works? When somebody
So-
calls in sick, what's the process there?
Yeah, so here's how that goes too. So you hire somebody, and
You hire a full-time or you hire a
hire a
substitute?
part-time sub.
Okay.
Part-time, Alexander Schools is now hiring part-time subs,
Okay.
$18 an hour. Come see me, we'll talk. They come in, we talk about everything, we agree, shake hands, get them in the process. When they're ready to go after the 3 months or so, they have to ride with my driver a day, and then they have to drive a day. But I know people need money. If they want to work every day, I have 25 routes, I'm gonna train them every day. On 3 or 4 days on a route. You guys have kids in school, you kind of want them to know where they're going. You want them to know the bridge in Harmon Road. You want them to know the deer down below your pond. You want them to know what's what and where's where. And there's nothing better than training them. They have been aides on buses as well, help other bus drivers out, special needs bus too. And so we will keep them busy every day if they like. Some people don't want to. I'm getting ready to hire, I won't mention his name yet, but he helps out the school in athletics. And he would like to drive as well, but doesn't want to drive all the time. And I will respect that and take what I can get and what he wants to give. And those people are nice to have too, because they just want this much. Other people want more, and we will give them what they need. So when somebody calls off, next week, I need off Tuesday and Wednesday. I will get you training Friday or Monday on that route. Run it 2 days, get comfortable with it, know what you're doing. Know there's a preschool that goes here. Know that there's a kindergarten here, and Dad meets us at the end of the driveway. And it's important. So having those drivers, they can't drive with a route sheet. They have to know what they're doing. And getting them out there and getting them comfortable makes the kids safer. So,
Do you have openings that you cannot fill because people are not applying?
are we talking sub-openings?
Right.
No, there's just not the bodies. There's not the people out there right now.
So I guess that's one of my questions. I mean,
Yes.
if we want to pay them more to get those people to come in,
That is
are we
correct.
having a problem getting those people to come in?
Yes, so a while back, I had the banner out front by the highway, and it was taken down, which it's because the place is for sale, we got it back, it's not a problem. I got nothing out of that. And that's when I was gonna talk to Mr. Hampton and say, I need to do something, I need another way to attack this problem. We need to talk about monies, and they need to talk about a way to reach out to the people. I think the Remind will be fantastic. We might even make a video, might need a little bit of help with Mark and some other people.
How many openings do you have right now?
Well, I need 3.
Okay.
So I'm getting ready to lose a driver in March and probably 6 within the next 2 years. Some people have wanted to leave for 3 or 4 years, and then at the end of the year, they change their mind and they come back. So that's a tough one. So I would like to be able to hire 2 or 3 more good, solid people to fill those positions. And like I say, spring's coming with all the sports and all the field trips. And that's a lot of work to get that covered. And being 3 months, we have a class in February to get them in. And then over spring break and such, we'll try to get them ready to drive mid-April, maybe the last 6 weeks.
Dan, are those subs committed to us, or can they drive for other places?
They can
when-
drive for other places.
Okay.
So.
So,
when I-
so if, for example, you call them on Monday morning, and Athens calls them on Monday morning, they could say, Dan, I can't go work for you, I'm
No, it
going to work
doesn't
for
happen
Athens
like
today.
that.
Okay.
They would have to, they get a certificate through us, and if they wanted to drive through another school, they would have to go through that process with them. So none of my subs here can just go over.
Okay.
They'd have to be hired on in the whole deal.
Okay,
So
so
it doesn't work like that.
There's not a competition for,
No.
okay, gotcha.
No, that part's easy.
Okay.
And people stay fairly committed to us. It's
Okay.
like I say, it's a good setup, and we take good care of them, and this part of trying to gather people tonight. I know they're watching, spread the word. Come on out, talk to me. And all of our routes are now automatic buses. That's a beautiful thing for people with their knees hurting. You know, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And I want to go with this too. I'm going to jump in on something else. Electric buses, we didn't make the first round in October. But we are still in the hunt for that, and I'll know in January, just so you know. We may have 2 electric buses.
Think electric buses are feasible in hilly areas like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
130 miles to a charge, probably 80 in this area. Routes 30 miles. Wintertime, you lose 30%. It's doable, and they're 375,000. Plug-ins 20,000. The government's going to kind of, if you want to call it give, we all know money isn't free. They give you that money towards it. I do have some concerns though on electric bus, and talk to you guys in private on that. Just some thoughts. So, but yes, it's doable. It's exciting and a little scary all at once.
It's about the right balance then.
But again, I do need your help. Whatever you think we can do, I'm in. We'll do it. But that number right there puts me close. And I guarantee you Nelsonville's going to go say, we got to be close. And Fedhawk cannot sit there and do the same thing. And Tremble and Logan's already there.
Do you have any idea, like, if we hired 3 people with this increased pay rate, what difference does that make per year to your budget?
Well, Kim, were you talking that over a full year, if they worked every day, is it $15,000 total?
Yeah, 15.6, yeah,
But-
there won't be no benefits.
Right.
Right.
But
So
that's-
it would be 15, yeah.
15 total, and that's if they
did
work every year, every day?
174 days,
Okay.
5 hours a day.
Per person.
But then again, though, that's
Yes.
also the full rate. That's the, if you just
Max
look
out.
at the $4 increase, or if you look at it that way, that'd be a different amount, correct?
Well, yeah.
So, they would still make 14 regardless. And it
Right.
would be-
Well, and I guess that was really my question, how does it impact his budget? How much would it raise that?
Or you can break it down based on.
Right.
That. To offset some of that, we also service the county, we service township vehicles, Albany Area Fire Department, Columbia Township. So our guys are also working a little bit to subsidize that. So
Between
just so
3
you
and
know,
4,000.
we're bringing a little bit of money on that too.
Okay.
So it helps offset.
3,000-4,000 in that.
So under
Yeah.
3,000 per?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Basically.
3 to 4,000,
Yeah.
about a quarter of it.
Yeah.
And to train, 6,000?
Pardon me?
How much to train?
Oh, train, somewhere around 1,000.
Okay.
But
Somewhere
we're-
close to 1,000. That includes the testing, that includes the physical, the drug test, background checks, and classroom. Somewhere around $1,000.
Historically.
Which again,
Dan-
that's going to be spent anyway.
That's, yes.
Yep.
Could be spent in loss.
So basically, we're looking at essentially 10K for 3 people.
Yeah.
And that's if I get 3, and that's if they all 3 want to work. The one gentleman doesn't want to work
Yeah,
every day.
that's not
Yeah.
every day.
So, and that's fine too. And again, everybody I get in, just put this in your mind as well. Everyone that comes through that door is offered custodial, parapro, and kitchen. And they are utilized,
Mhm.
just so you know. That's
So-
a good thing.
And they're paid at the pro rate during those hours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly kitchen at this point.
Okay.
But but if they want to, they could branch out to the parapro and custodial.
So Dan, how many, you said in the next 2 years, you're looking at 6 retirers.
I think so.
How many, historically, how many of our hires have come up through this way?
Oh my. If I look at the list now, Cheryl Reese is the first one, Lisa Swartz the second, the next person out of 25 I hired years ago. So all of them were hired by me, and most of them stay a good long time. Some people, somewhat younger, and had Mark Setzer, Farrier. He stayed with us quite a few years till his business grew, and then he moved on. But those were good years, and we appreciate it. And he stayed a long time, did a good job. So most people do stay with us for a long time. Steve Dugan's working on 50 years, I think, before he leaves. Cheryl Reese is somewhere in that area. A lot of years. I've been here 22, and a lot of my people are here 15 years. Good to have them. But they do get older, and they do have other things that come up in their life. When they leave, I need to replace that. And it's usually 2 a year, somewhere in that range. And I like to have 3 people ready to go and 1 trained, because you just don't know. And I don't want to elaborate too much. We all know what's happened recently with employees. We lost a person, and that affected a person, and that's very sad, but it happens. And I lost another one of my employees to another reason, not an illness or anything like that, but things happen that you can't be ready for. And I like to be as ready as I can, and I need to be able to get good people in, get them trained up, ready to go.
Seems like bottom line, you need bench strength and this helps you.
Pardon me?
Bottom line, you need bench strength and
I
this
do.
helps you.
I do. You have to. You can't operate without those people behind you. You have to have that. Any more questions? Sir?
Nice job, Dan.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
I appreciate you coming tonight to clarify anything.
Absolutely. If you have any other questions, please come down to the garage, stop in, say hi, talk to us, take you around, I'll show you everything.
Thank you, Dan.
Yep. All right, I've got just a couple of other items to talk about. Our newsletter is going to go to the mailer soon. So we're going to get our first newsletter out. It'll go to everyone in the community, and it'll be mailed to their homes. So I'm excited about that. It'll evolve. This is a first cut, so it'll change. And we'll learn what we can about what's important from people, and we'll continue to make that better. So I'm excited to get it going. We've also got some other tools that we're looking at that we're going to use, and there'll be more to come on that. And it's all about making connections in the community. So we want to have a presence in as many homes as we can.
Thank you for restarting that. I don't recall the last time we did that.
You need to give Mrs. Rouse a big pat on the back, an attaboy, or buy her a cup of coffee when you see her standing in line, because she did a lot of the hard work where it comes down to editing, shaping, and getting it together so it actually fits within the pages. So, yep, she did a great job. The last piece is the calendar. We are working on the calendar. We started work on the calendar. We've run into a couple little hurdles that we have to negotiate. I don't think they're going to be insurmountable. We just have to make some changes with some language. The contract language within teacher's contract is very restrictive in what we can do. So for us to have the flexibility that we want to have, because we do want to look at our calendar a little differently and do some more things with our staff, we have to make some changes in language. And so I know Ms. Pratt Harrington is looking into that. I've sent her a sample of what I'm familiar with working with in districts. She's looking into some of her sources, and we'll come up with something very soon, but it'll have to be an MOU that we'll do within the contract. Other than that, that's all I have.
All right. Thank you. We didn't have anybody on public participation for agenda items, so we have the consent agenda. Any items need to be removed?
I don't think removed, but I have a question. Go ahead. Can you explain the dock days? Under C, approve the following dock days?
Dock days are when you have exceeded the leave that you currently is available to you. And so those are days without pay. And sometimes there are situations that come up in people's lives that are unforeseen, or in an unusual circumstance. And so these happen. And so when something like that comes up, their pay is docked accordingly. So it's not something that we want. We want our people here. Our people are our best asset. So we're working with them to try to find ways to help them be here. But that's what a dock day is, and that's how it's treated.
And if it happens consistently, the person is working less than full-time and is getting full benefits?
Yes, but they're docked.
Yeah,
They do not receive
they
it.
don't get paid, but they still are collecting the full benefits that they would get under if they're in the
Yes.
union and contract. Which then makes it, if they do it consistently, makes it harder for their coworkers.
If it becomes
consistent.
consistent, yes.
Okay, thank you.
So anytime we're not here, and this is something that I say, and I talk about this on a regular basis, is that anytime that we're not here, it puts more of a burden on others. If I'm not here to do my job, others have to pick up for me. And so we want to encourage people to be here so that we're all helping each other.
Thank you.
Yep.
Looking for a motion.
So moved.
Seconded.
Roll.
Josh?
Yes, and congratulations to the students in here that are graduating early.
Aaron?
Yes.
Lucy?
Yes.
Blake?
Yes. Under items for board approval, item A, it's recommended the Board of Education employ Rosie Lamb, intervention specialist, effective January 4th, 2023.
Ms. Lamb is here with us this evening. You're going to make sure they do this right, correct?
Well, let's get it on the floor first. So I'll make the motion.
Seconded.
All right, discussion. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Hopefully. And this is a replacement position?
Yes.
Thank you. Roll.
Josh,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Lucy,
Yes.
Blake.
Yes, now officially welcome. Item B, it's recommended the Board of Education accept an enclosed letter of retirement resignation from Beverly Fetty, effective January 1st, 2023. So moved.
Seconded.
Discussion. Just want to say thank you for your service. Roll.
Josh,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Lucy,
Yes.
Blake.
Yes. Under item C, it's recommended the Board of Education approve an increase to the hourly rate of pay for substitute paraprofessionals from $10 an hour, or from $10 to $12 effective January 1st, 2023. This is due to an increase of state minimum wage and to standardized substitute pay rates for paraprofessionals, custodians, and food service staff.
So moved.
Seconded.
Discussion. I'll just add that I think it's good that we stay competitive and fill these spots that are needed for our students, so. Roll.
Josh,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Lucy,
Yes.
Blake.
Yes. Item D, it's recommended that the Board of Education approve an increase to the hourly rate of pay for substitute bus drivers from $14 to $18 effective January 1st, 2023.
Moved.
Seconded.
Discussion. I'll piggyback, I don't think much needs to be said more than what Dan has already stated. Besides the need now, we have a need in the next 2 years to start feeding that system. And if our students aren't here, we can't teach them. And the bus is the first time, their first contact with us. And that's how we get our students here, so. Roll.
Josh,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Lucy,
Yes.
Blake.
Yes. Item E, it's recommended the Board of Education accept the enclosed letter of retirement resignation from Sherry Phillips effective January 31st, 2023. So moved.
Seconded.
Discussion. Again, just want to say thank you for your service. Roll.
Josh,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Lucy,
Yes.
Blake.
Yes. Under business initiated by board members, as it's December, we need to elect a president pro tempore for our organizational meeting in January.
I nominate you for 1 month.
For 1 month. Do we have to go to a vote? I don't even know how this,
Is it-
do we have to go to a vote?
No, it didn't.
I don't think it did, okay.
Just-
Is everybody okay with that?
I take it back.
All right. Organizational meeting, we have to have it by January 15th, 2023. I looked and if we keep with Tuesdays, this second Tuesday, or second Wednesday, excuse me, of the month, that would be the 11th. Does that work?
So you do it prior to the regular board
We
meeting?
would have the organizational meeting at first, we would do that organizational meeting, close it, and then start
Same night.
same night for the regular scheduled board meeting.
Yes.
Yep.
So it would be actually 2 meetings in one. We have to do the organizational, open it, close it, and then start the regular board meeting on the 11th, as we have scheduled the second Wednesday of the month.
Have your meetings always been at 7? I'm just asking.
For as long as I can remember.
We're a young board, but
As far as I can remember, I know they have switched between, and they've switched between
Better than
Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
6 is better than 7.
All right.
Was it 4 years ago it switched to Wednesdays
This is what you guys can talk about
because of
in the organization.
less going on? I mean, we can do that, but I mean, that can all be I mean, it could be Fridays at noon, but I'm not going to be there.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
all right,
So
so
January we'll-
so we'll do
Yeah.
January 11th, 7 PM organizational meeting.
We start same time, Blake.
7 PM, yep, we'll do 7 PM. All right, so we have public participation on non-agenda items. Ms. Ball, I saw you on the,
I just want to make a comment. I think we need a big thank you to the people who organized and got the athletic induction.
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame
Yes.
taken care of. I don't think any board member was there, but it was a good program. They did a very nice job. And the people inducted, I think, were thrilled to death, because most of them I knew.
absolutely.
Ms. Ball is correct. Shame on me for not mentioning that. I did attend the event, as did everyone here in this front row. It was a, hey, it was a wonderful evening. I mean, it really was. And coming in and not knowing anyone, you get to just look at people and watch how they react and respond to each other. And you could just see, it was bigger than a class reunion because it involved multiple classes, people from many generations and everything else. So it was a really nice celebration, and it was really well done. And they do need a nice pat on the back and a kudos, because it was a lot of work to pull off, but the reward in the end, I think, was great. So really nicely done. We're already working on making it better.
And the plaques in the hall are very nice, too.
Can't wait for next year. Starting today for next year.
Yes.
Yes, very well done. I was actually in Columbus for another sporting event, my own kids. But, thank you, Sally. So without further ado, I don't, there should not be any action following the executive session, but I will make a motion for executive session for the employment of an employee or official.
Seconded.
Roll.
Josh,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Lucy,
Yes.
Blake.
Yes. Thank you.
Just wait on us.
The time is 8:38. I need a motion for adjournment.
Made.
Seconded. Roll.
Josh.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
Lucy.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes. Again, next organizational meeting will be January the 11th at 7 PM,
Followed by regular.
followed by the regular meeting. Have a great night.